On today's episode of Adapt and Respond, we've got a 5-star commit in Jett Harrison to the Ohio State Buckeyes. Let's talk about what this means for Ohio State's 2028 recruiting, who his famous older brother and father are. If you don't know, I'm glad you're here. You probably know otherwise. And let's talk about what this means for, the Buckeye recruiting, the Buckeyes' future, and can they keep the string of first-round draft picks coming out of 5 stars going in the age post one Brian Hartline. That's all coming up after the bumper. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year-round. If you're into that, consider joining the more than 205,000 subscribers to Adapt and Respond to College Football Podcast. My goodness, guys. We have been growing at breakneck speed here, basically because of Brendan Sorsby, I think, because a lot of people found the channel when the Brendan Sorsby news first began to pop off in April, May, and there's been all sorts of news to follow that. And we're also getting into our college football preview season as we're gearing up for Big 12 Media Days next week, ACC Media Days, SEC Media Days. I'll be in Chicago for Big 10 Media Days. But right now, I want to talk about the recruiting that has been going on at Ohio State here recently. Earlier today, this is Wednesday, July 1st, 5-star 2028 wide receiver Jett Harrison committed to the Ohio State University. This is the younger brother of one Marvin Harrison Jr. and the son of Pro Football Hall of Famer Marvin Harrison Sr. Like his older brother, Harrison Jr. comes out as a 5-star. Harrison, not Harrison Jr. Harrison comes out as a 5-star out of St. Joe's Prep, just like his brother, and has been really lighting it up since he basically got to high school, which is no less than what you would come to expect from the son of Marvin Harrison. And you know what kind of legacy Marvin Harrison Jr. left at Ohio State. He came in. It took a little bit of time for him to find his feet, but not much. After that 2021 season where Jackson Smith and Jigba had gone off, we saw what had happened with Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. He started to find his way in 2022. Had 77 catches for 1,200 yards and led the conference in TDs with 14. And then he had his Biletnikoff Award year, which is actually not as productive as 2022. 67 catches, 1,211 yards, 14 TDs, averaged 18.1 yards per catch, which was also best in the conference. But that was the year in which he was basically the offense. Kyle McCord was looking to him, trying to play the two-man game. It was either Kyle McCord to Marvin Harrison Jr., or you're trying to run the football. You could say a lot of things about Marvin Harrison Jr.'s tenure at Ohio State, and they would mostly all be good. I mean, he number 4 pick in the NFL draft the year he comes out, 2024. But I think his legacy is being just one of just 2 players to have won the Biletnikoff Award at Ohio State, the other one being Terry Glenn, and their first Biletnikoff Award winner since 1995. We've all thought that Jeremiah Smith has had better seasons than Marvin Harrison Jr. 2024 for starters, right? His freshman year was an all-timer. He won a national championship. Didn't win the Biletnikoff Award. He comes back next year. He leads college football in several categories and is a Heisman finalist, but does not win the Biletnikoff Award. They give it to Mekhi Lemon, which I still think is ridiculous given what we know about Jeremiah Smith and what he has meant to college football. He is the best college football player in the sport today, but he doesn't have a Biletnikoff Award. That said, Marvin Harrison Jr. ain't got no national championship. Now you're getting to add a 5-star in Harrison, who gets to be the first big one in the 28 class for Cortez Hankton, who already was able to get and keep, or I should say, was able to keep Jameer Brown, who was 2027 5-star commit, and he got Austin Miller into the boat early as a 2029 commit. So that's across 3 different classes. I mean, he's been on the radar for a long time, 6'1", Jett Harrison, but it also is in keeping with Ohio State's great talent, which is getting legacies to continue to not just show up, but perform, right? Thinking about Lorenzo Styles and then Sonny Styles, thinking about that brother tandem, thinking about Jeremiah Smith and his younger brother, thinking about the Harrisons. You keep going down the line. It really is, they say, a brotherhood at Ohio State, but it's brothers wanting to play with brothers and Ohio State making this work. It is one thing to recruit players within the same family. I don't see it work as often as I would like to. Last time I could see it, I could reference it working outside of the Ohio State realm has been, I think, the Weeks brothers at LSU is a great example. The Bowen brothers at Oklahoma is a great example. You'll get them every now and again, but to consistently not just get these guys in the boat who are high-value targets, but also, hey, your brother came here. This is what separates, I think, the Buckeyes from a lot of places. I'll even put Indiana on blast here because Indiana had Alberto Mendoza on the roster, kind of used him to get Fernando Mendoza on the roster, rode Fernando Mendoza to a national championship, and then let Alberto Mendoza go into the transfer portal to Georgia Tech rather than ride with him as starting quarterback in 2026. That's going to be Josh Hoover. I think that's worth pointing out. And as we continue to talk through what we expect from this Ohio State receiving corps in the wake of Brian Hartline's absence, Cortez Hankton is doing everything he can to say, hey, it's going to run just the way it's supposed to, okay? There has begun a legacy of putting together some of the best wide receiver corps in all of college football, and he intends to keep that. And you look at the guys going in this season, not just Jeremiah Smith, but Brandon Ennis, Devin McEwen, right? Keep going down the list on this. I think Chris Henry Jr. is a dude. I think he's going to be a monster. And the idea that you're going to have a guy like Chris Henry Jr. come on his freshman year, sophomore 2027, 2028, going into his third year, you're going to have a Jett Harrison on that team. Will he make it into that too deep? I don't know. We'll see. A lot of moving and shaking to be done there. But to keep this train moving is, I mean, nothing too shabby. I would equate what Cortez Hankton has been able to do in a very short amount of time to what Carlos Loughlin was able to do in his first couple of years at Ohio State. We thought that perhaps with Tony Alford going to Michigan, there might be a lull. They went to go get this dude from Oregon who said, don't put no soft baked batch cookies around me. And he said, I'm going to go get us some tailbacks, and I'm going to make sure that the best possible guys are playing all the time. Went and got Quinshawn Judkins to go along with Travion Henderson, and they went to work. 2024 winning a national championship. Went and got Bo Jackson. He quickly became RB1 as a true freshman. The future's very bright in that backfield. Now you get to recruit on the strength of what you have been doing for some time now, right? I don't think that this is I don't think this is a small win. I think this is an enormous win. I think that if you can get the kind of production out of Jett Harrison that you got out of Marvin Harrison Jr., you must be doing something right because the football guys don't generally give you that kind of back-to-back. Now, again, I've referenced a couple brothers or sets of brothers that I think have been pretty damn good and were able to be as productive as anybody else in college football as a tandem. But I also want to point out Ryan Day has been doing such a job, man. Like, the only blemish on his record has to be Michigan, 2-4. But he's 82-12. He's won a national championship. They've been to the national title game a couple of times. Have they won as many Big Ten championships? No. But putting 3 guys into the top 10 of the NFL's first round this year and just missing out on 4 with, Caleb Downs falling to the Cowboys, right? That's remarkable. And to do it without a quarterback, as largely defensive, like Cardinal Tate was the only first-round pick that Ohio State had this year. That's just going to keep going. They've just been getting better and better, and they have answered the bell every single time. I hear so much moaning and complaining from guys like Mike Elko at A&M talking about, if I don't make the college football playoff, feels like we're going to get fired. Yeah, dog, that's the job. What do you think is going to happen to Ryan Day if they don't make the college football playoff, man? And he's done way more than you, right? Ohio State fans, it's a short trigger, and it should be, right? That's what Day says. The standard is the standard. You are the steward. You don't run anything, right? You are the guy in charge, but only in as far as the results continue to pan out. 2024 was an example of when we're giving you everything you want. Now you got to go win with it. And Ryan Day's been able to do that. No matter what name, image, and likeness is done, no matter what the eligibility crisis is done, talk about extending the college football playoff field to 24, none of it has thrown him or his program off. I'm floored by that. I think this is outstanding. I hesitate to say that Ryan Day could enter into that pantheon, but he'd have to win a few more national championships to do it, right? Most people will tell you that Urban should have won at least 2, maybe 3 national championships. 2014, didn't feel like it was going to go their way, but I'm going to go 2012, right? That's for me. Ohio State's claim to a national championship. They just didn't get to play in the postseason. Folks would say that Notre Dame should have been there anyway on merit. I don't believe that. I still think that Buckeye team had more to show. But the way that they have been recruiting, the way that Day has put this together, the way that they have taken this great talent and continued to develop it, it's been second to none. And I can't wait to see what Jett Harrison gets to provide to the Buckeyes in 2027.